All right, let's talk about the Michigan defense. I think, and I'll just kind of kick it off, but to me, no matter what, no matter who you're playing, it's impressive to hold a team to 10 points. And I don't care that it's a MAC opponent. I think it's impressive no matter
Really,
what,
three
because
most of the game. Yeah,
say it again.
I said really 3 points most of the game. Like the
Yeah,
legitimate portions of the game, like the legitimate when it 3 points. I mean,
I
47
think
passing yards.
yeah, it's impressive. It's impressive because it's so easy for a guy to, you know what I mean, like, fall down in coverage or not get in my lane as far as run fits go. Like it's easy to score touchdowns now. Like, and the rules are against the defense. Like, they make it more difficult for you to play defense well. Like, so to me, I'm like, at the end of the day, it's impressive. Like, so to hold a team to 10 points, I think is impressive. And really, when you think about it, you've got, so I'm taking a look at the scores now. You held Northern to 10 points, you held Washington to 10 points, and Western scored 14. And really, 7 of that was garbage time. So when you look at it, like I said, I don't care who the opponent is. It's hard to keep a team under 17, 21 points. Like, that's very difficult to do. So I
Mhm.
much kudos I give to the Michigan defense and Mike Macdonald. What's your feedback on it?
I'm in lockstep with you. I mean, you can't fake that. You can't fake that in terms of a consistent defense that doesn't make a lot of mistakes, that generates pressure on the quarterback, that causes havoc. It all starts with 97 and Aiden Hutchinson. And you gotta tip your hat to Mike McDonald, because here's another thing too. This defense went from a 4-3 to a 3-4. That is so hard to do, and that takes a couple years. To get guys used to playing a different position, to get your defensive ends now that were in what it used to be in a 3 point stance, now standing up. To make sure you have the right interior linemen to be able to plug their gaps, and have the linebackers now used to being able to take on a blocker that they didn't always have to take on, right? Because now it's less people at the line, at the line of scrimmage. You know what I'm saying? That's coming right at them, that protection. They don't have that same protection that they used to have. So to do that change in one off season and to come to this season and look pretty seamless, it's incredible. It's incredible. You gotta tip your hat to a guy, Mike McDonald, who didn't have a lot of experience as a defensive coordinator, not necessarily a lot of experience in general, but as a defensive coordinator, and he's done a fantastic job. Now, the only thing I would say is that the only question mark or concern, not complaining, but concern potentially, will be what happens if we have to play a team, or when we play a team that has some pretty good athletes on the outside. Um, and we have to make some changes mid-game. Say we're starting off man to man, and that's not working. Can we start playing zone and be just as effective? You know, against teams that we're not physically imposing against. Now we don't have to worry about that now. We may not have to worry about that till we play maybe Penn State, maybe even Ohio State. It's not a lot of teams in the Big Ten that have great athletes on the outside. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that may not be a problem that we see for a long time, but the way this defense is playing, that's the only potential concern I have. Can we make adjustments against teams that are really athletic? And other than that, we're showing depth. We're showing guys who are disciplined, who know their assignments, who are tackling well. Now we forced a turnover today, which is something that we wondered would they be able to do. They finally got one today, got an interception. And so it's not really much bad you could say about the defense. Not necessarily bad. It's really not even much you can critique. They're playing really, really well. And in today's college football, where the field is so spread, and the whole point of the spread offense is to create space. So it's hard to clog up lanes. It's hard to lock in on one particular portion of the field, and that's not mattering to this defense. So once again, they're doing a great job.
Yeah. And I think too, we talked about it before the season started, was just my thought was the defense is going to be better just because it's not the typical Don Brown, we're blitzing all the little guys, but then when it comes to playing the big, like he just didn't have a back, right? His trump card was man coverage, we're blitzing you. And there was nothing, there was the next flip of the card was nothing. Yeah, it just was, and I'm just like, and I felt like with having a different D coordinator, I don't want to, put Don Brown in any type of light. I just don't think he did a great job here at Michigan. So my thought was having a different defensive coordinator.
He did a fantastic job against a weak team. So, he was top 5 defense in the country,
Right.
So,
and my thing is just at the end of the day, I'm just like, to have a D coordinator that can balance between zone and man coverage, like, because that's what got Michigan in trouble. And a lot of the big games was, well, we're just playing man coverage. That's for a high level OC, which every single Power 5 offensive coordinator is a high level offensive coordinator. And every one of them, when you see the team is just going to play man against us. Okay, cool. I'm going to call a game. You can't show me an offensive coordinator in a Power 5 school that if I told them going into the game, hey, this team's going to play man against you like 99% of the time, they're going to call a great game. They're going to be incredible. You're going to think they're the best offensive coordinator that you've seen this year. You're going to think they're Steve Sarkisian from Alabama last year. And I thought just the sheer difference of not having a coach that was so dialed into man coverage pressure, I thought the defense would just naturally be better because you put your guys in a better spot. And so far, it's definitely looked that way. I think there's some other factors as well. Like I said, I can't sing his praises enough with Aiden, but I think that's part of it. Is you have an elite pass rusher that just swings the game. Like having a guy like that changes a lot, changes everything. So. Like I said, kudos to the defense. Mike Macdonald had made a comment last week of it's easy to play defense when you're not out there a lot, and it understandable, and he's right. But it's
to have. I'm glad he has the perspective.
It is. It's a very good one to have, and just that understanding too. Like I appreciate it, and maybe I'm looking too much into it, but I appreciate my defensive coordinator throwing like throwing love publicly to my offensive coordinator. You know what I mean? Like and like I said, maybe I'm looking into it a little bit much, but I like that. I like seeing that.
Also, it's also about like keeping his guys on notice. Like you guys are playing well, but we can have areas to improve on. We haven't accomplished anything yet. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
No, we got a lot of areas. Like, they may not say externally, but it's more internally. Like, hey, we played well, but we still in the film room can pick bits and pieces. Like we didn't do that right. We missed that assignment, right? And that's what it's about. You talk about it all the time. And when you have, there's always something you can pull from a game. Especially when you're a coach and staff, and your job is to make sure that you're making improvements week to week. So we may not have seen it because we're seeing the overall, game. But when you lock into that film, you go play by play, I guarantee you that there's still areas this team can improve on both sides of the ball, and especially defense. And I'm sure that's what Mike is thinking. We played really well, but I'm gonna break down the film, and he's gonna probably have a list of things like, we got to address that.
Yep, this, and this. Like, it's. They're for sure going to have some things to look at, and like you said, as a coach, it doesn't matter what level you're at. Once you watch film, there's always things that you can critique and things that you can improve on, no matter how the game ended up, like whether it was a blowout or it could be post game.
It could be as simple as like a tackle for loss, and one guy that is not running to the football because it appears that his teammate is about to bring the guy down, and he holds up. Let's say this it's Gene Upshaw. Gene's like, well, coach, it looked like Aiden had the guy. No, I don't care. I need to have all 11 helmets on the ball. How many times you hear in your life football coaches say, I want all 11 helmets on the football on defense? All 11.
All the time. All the time.
So that's I'm not saying that happened today, but that could be an example of the minute things that it was a great turnout as a play, but there's something you can pick out on that field that's going to pay dividends. Because, for example, let's say that a guy on your defense has his hands on somebody in the backfield. It looks like a for sure tackle for loss, but the running back breaks the play and he ends up getting a positive 6-7 yards. But when you break down the film, there was another Michigan defender who held up, as opposed to
had he not been loafing, right? You would have got him.
You would have got him. So those are the small, minute things that you can catch in film. So, but things are going well.